Uh, what's up, guys? Welcome to Antimatter Chemistry Progression Log 8, I believe. Sorry for the late video. Yesterday I had to move apartments to my summer apartment, and after I was done, it took me like 6 hours. I was tired and didn't want to do anything, so I didn't. Also, I had to uh, start like pretty early. I'm not happy about it. Anyway, so I'd like to get into some stuff. And first off, here's the control room that I was talking about at the end of the last video or whatever regarding like the fission stuff. Um, we can go over here and see the yard's pretty filled out. I filled out all the fission reactors. The fusion ones are a little bit more expensive, so I haven't gotten around to that yet. And there's also a big bridge down the center too, which I'm very happy about. There's a cable all the way down there and stuff. Very cool, very cool. Okay. I know I talked about a stair design, and then I realized I couldn't figure out a good stair design, so I'm like, well, elevators exist, so we'll use elevators. I don't like the way they look because open blocks. This is the open blocks elevator, not the elevator mod elevator, so you can't facade them with other blocks. You can only dye them like this. So that's like the one downside, but you know, better this than trying to spend like an hours designing a stair that I'll hate. Okay, so how this control panel works is right now you can see that Molly, this light is on, so this means this fusion reactor, because it's blue and pointing these two to that one, is on. Right now only one is on. I've changed the levels on one to be 100,000 rather than the original 75,000 to its level emitted, and so only one of these things is running, but there are two. So you can see the lights are on here, which means the machine is running. If we go all the way back over, a very large bridge. I know this is like the largest place in the base by far. It's fantastic. Uh, yep, we can see this running because we only have 85,000. We have 1.2 million iron and 706,000 sulfur, and that's being fused into molybdenum. Excuse me, sorry. Um, yeah, so the fission reactors work basically the same way, except in terms of control. So because we want to turn the fission reactors off when both things they are splitting to, like for example, we are fusing up tellurium and then splitting that down to krypton and bromine. And so we want these to be on 100,000 on both of these things, and that means these things emit when below, and this logic gate will turn off if both of these things are off, but will have a signal if C is on or if A is on or if A and C are on. We only want this to turn off if both are off. And that's how it works for all the for all the fission ones too. This is for splitting potassium. So, and then this signal just gets outputted into a redstone P2P, which is then linked to the appropriate light here, the appropriate light. Oh, a little bit of a lag spike, no worries. The appropriate light on up on this upper ledge, I guess, whatever you want to call it, and also to the exporter thing here to turn this on. Uh, so, yeah. When both are over 100%, it will stop pulling out from the fission controller. Uh, so hopefully it should be fine. Um, okay. Uh, but only when both. If one dips below 100,000, it'll start pulling again, so it'll be fine. If one dips below, the other isn't. It won't like clog it up or anything. All right, so that's the fission fusion yard stuff done. Uh, let's see, anything over here? Nothing different over here. Oh, over here I added an RF tools dimlet area. I finally got into that. I wanted to make the quarry, and I did, by the way. The quarry is very good. I'll get to that in a moment. Um, one thing I did do though is I made a molten thorium dimension that costs 30,000 RF per tick to run, but I pumped out over 60,000 buckets of molten thorium, and it's being currently turned into ingots. I did the math. I estimated, and then someone in the alchemistry Discord did the math for me. It's like 416,000 thorium ingots, a little over, something like that. It's a lot. It's a lot. So we're chilling on thorium now through this because the other big thing I did uh, Let's see. Actually, I before I go to that side of the base, I attempted to upgrade the Blizz powder production speed, and then I ran into the snowball production speed problem. So that's an issue. So I'm gonna have to figure out. I'm gonna have to do glacial precipitators rather than chemical combiners for snowballs. So I'm gonna have to find a spot for that somewhere. It's a little bit annoying, but what can you do, right? Over here, this is just a random pad that I have in the 82 production that I just keep like using for random stuff. This uses high pressure pipes to pull out from the tanks because when I was pumping thorium, I was using the RF tools builder with the pump card, and it was pumping faster than the ender tank could export. So these pressure pipes have infinite through rate when powered by a redstone signal. So yeah, it will instantly drain this tank. It's off right now because I wanted the quarry for other stuff and I didn't want to leave it in the dimension. Also, I have 400,000 ingots plus worth of molten thorium, so I'm good for a while. The reason why, or actually, let's see. Should I talk about? Yeah, we'll go ahead and talk about power now. The reason why I want more thorium is we are kind of actually sort of at our limit. I'm not really comfortable with expanding any more processes at the moment without increasing power. Right as it is right now, we have about 10,000 RF per tick of overhead, which sounds like a lot until you realize the quarry draws anywhere from 10 to 20,000 RF pretty consistently. So if I want to keep that running on top of ore production, because I actually, or ore processing, I should say, which I'll have to show again because I did some big changes to that too. Um, yeah, so we're gonna have to build a new reactor, and it's gonna be a thorium reactor, because I have a lot of that stuff, and I want to kind of fuse it, slowly get it to the heavier elements like uranium and stuff. I think that'd be cool. Um, However, I misbuilt this. I have to rebuild this. It's off center, or it's too long in one side. I forgot to partition it properly. So that's something else I'll have to do. But it'll be molten thorium power. It'll be not molten thorium. Thorium fuel, thorium oxide or TVU oxide fuel, and it'll produce 128,000 RF per tick, which is twice as much as the other two combined. So that's good. And only off thorium, and it's gonna like blast through like a I think it's like 15 seconds or something for a pellet, because it's like 500 times fuel consumption rate. It's ridiculous. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. Next over here is the farm rebuild. One thing you'll see, I have a second sword in my inventory, and it has the capturing enchantment. And that's important because if you kill an enemy with a capturing enchantment, for every level of the capturing enchantment on the sword, you have a 0.4% chance of when you kill that mob, it drops its spawn egg. And Apotheosis allows you to use spawn eggs to change what spawners spawn. And you can pick them up with the Silk Touch tool, and then you can upgrade them with like other items. And so this is the result. That spawner right there is on for 4 ticks every time it spawns enemies. That's how many enemies it spawns. That's how many mobs it spawns in 4 ticks. It's on for 4 ticks and then off for 50, and then on for 4 and then off for 50, and that's what that looks like. So it's pretty ridiculous. And the reason why I'm farming those feral ghouls from Nuclear Craft is they have a chance to drop thorium and uranium ingots. It's like not great chance. Let's see if we can catch one in here. Yeah, there we go. We saw one. So it's not a great chance, which is why I actually had to go and do the molten dimlet dimension because it just wasn't that much. Like I'm eating more uranium than this thing can provide already. Yeah. It's cool though. It's definitely a useful amount. I just use a lot of it. At least I think it's less. I don't know. We'll have to see. It's still a decent chunk of uranium. I also have an override switch here, and this thing will turn off if I pass 20,000 thorium and 20,000 uranium. It's a little bit of a laggy farm, and I don't really want it running if I don't really need it to. So I figure 20,000 is a good enough cutoff for that. Um, Yeah. Also, I obviously rebuilt this. Uh, this was too slow with the amount of rotten flesh that was coming in from all those feral ghouls because they have the zombie drop table plus uranium and thorium ingots. So they produce a lot of rotten flesh, and this gets rid of it. I have this is actually only like a fraction of these things are actually in operation. It only breaks down gunpowder and uh, rotten flesh. It doesn't even break down spider eyes yet. Haven't really gotten around to it, and it's kind of like whatever. I mean, I don't really. It's not like I need the carbon or hydrogen or anything, because the rotten flesh provides a lot of that as well, and I get an absolute monstrous amount, as you could see. Yeah, so it's not a problem. I'm not like lacking for resources or anything. So yeah, that's fine. That rewire was annoying, and it's not redstone leveled anymore like it was before. So it's just gonna eat all of the gunpowder and all of the rotten flesh. And I decided that that's kind of like okay. For gunpowder, I don't even know if you needed it for anything really. I checked. I scrolled through all the recipes, and I'm like, for the stuff that you would use it for, I don't need it. Like for brewing, I mean, a reacting time now, like the only thing you would use it for is like breaking it down or like drop of evil, but you can get this from wither skeletons or other things. So it's kind of like whatever. And if I need it, I can just make it on demand through a chemical combiner. Really. I really love that the on-demand chemical combining. It's fantastic. I actually plan to do on-demand fission and fusion as well, so I can because remember how I had thallium on demand through chemical dissolving and just hoping that I'd say 10 would give you one, and no, that wasn't going to be accurate. Well, you could fuse to it instead through on-demand stuff, which would be totally ridiculous and also like super cool. So I'm definitely gonna try and figure out a way to do that. Um, let's see, any more changes? Oh, over here, this enchanting table. I spent like 2 hours working this up to it. This is on a level of 100 and let's see. Do I have something I can enchant? Oh, good, I have a sword. Um, it's a level 108 enchanting table, and this took so long and so much matter. Take a look. Our stockpile, like this was, we had like 32,000, and it's been, I think I drained it down to like 17,000. This was up like at 36, and I drained it down to like 20,000. This was at like 52, and it was down to like 35,000. I went through so much of this matter. I went through 1,700 buckets of liquid XP from open blocks. And that was because what you had to do is in order to get Hell Infusion on these things, it took 72 levels to get the level 3 enchant. So it was 72, and then you'd go down to 70, and you have to eat a couple stacks because it's really high. And then after, you enchant a bunch of these bookshelves, you come over here, you then extract the enchantment with the disenchanter, and that takes chunks of levels like the anvil. So you go up to like 70, and then one thing takes 20 levels, and bam, you're down to 50. So it's just a ridiculous amount of XP just having to cycle back and forth. And then after you have all the other books, you then combine them in the anvil and then reattach them to the hell shelves. So when it was like not to get like a hell shelf with like a Hellish Infusion 9, which by the way, every level of Hellish Infusion increases the enchanting power of the bookshelf by zero point 0.2. So normally hell shelves are 2, and enchantment level 10 they are 4. So to put like 9 and 10 on these bookshelves was like the highest I saw was 163 level enchantment cost. So I went through so much XP, and it took me hours to get capturing 5. I thought it went up higher because I was stupid and didn't check JEI. So I actually have 3 more capturing 5s. Nope, capturing 5 is the highest. So I feel stupid. And I have a bunch of these diamond swords that I, can pull off for stuff. But I haven't gotten around to it because I don't really feel like messing around with enchantments anymore. I spent like 2 hours doing it, and I'm kind of sick of this area. I need to finish off this room too. I haven't gotten around to it. It's, there's a bajillion things I need to do, and I'm trying to do them all at once. Whoops. Uh-oh. It's fine. There we go. I'm going to be making a molten uranium dimlet. I think I already mentioned the molten uranium dimlet dimension. If I didn't, yeah. Well, actually, I think we're kind of done over here. Oh, you know what? Ore processing. Can't forget that. How can I forget ore processing? And how it's absolutely correct now. I doubled up. I just doubled the number of machines. And it's been running like crazy, and yeah, like it's like chewed through a lot of this ore. Like last night after I was finished running the quarry, four of these obsidian chests were full. And it's been like just absolutely blasting through ore. It's had some like the most efficient stuff, and like it still can't outpace the quarry, which is why I have 6 obsidian buffer chests here, because it's still not fast enough to take out the RF Tools quarry, and I will show you how hard that RF Tools quarry goes. It's actually ridiculous, and I'm so glad I got it, and that I don't have to do manual mining anymore, and it's why I'm so freaking rich. We'll come here and take a look at ingots. 22,000 boron, 38,000 tin, 21,000 lithium, 17,000 lead, and like, yeah, some of these things are passive, but they're only passive up to like 4,000 or something like that. Like, they don't like dump into the main system, so they don't endlessly go up. But our elements are looking good. Like, whew, like we're wealthy. We're wealthy, and I'll go show you why we're wealthy and the poor things I've done to this dimension. Oh, I'm gonna have to. Uh, do I have a thing? I do have a thing. There we go. And chunk loading. You're in one chunk. Okay, that's good. Alright, problem solved. Anyway, this is what the RF Tools Quarry did. 1, 2, part of 3. This was after I had finished the pump card stuff, and he went to go pump molten thorium, so I just pulled it off of here. It would have gone like another row, so it would have finished out this, and then a little bit more. And I don't know why it stopped there, and it stopped there. I'm not sure exactly why that happened, so I would have had to like restart it or something. But yeah, the RF Tools quarry, the clearing quarry, goes hard. It costs 20,000 RF a tick to run, but man, it's impressive, let me tell you, right? And the reason why I'm doing this in the RF Tools dimension is for the dimensional shards, instead of like doing this in the deep dark or something. Yeah. So yeah. So the budget quarry method was good, and I did crutch on it super hard, and it's definitely something you can crutch on up until you can get like a crazy RF Tools quarry. But man, I'm very glad not to be mining manual anymore. It would have taken me like legitimately a solid straight day at least, like 24 hours of mining to do that, and it did this in like a couple hours. It's ridiculous. It's fantastic. I'm so happy. Actually, I had to double up ore processing too because of the quarry. It was, even on my own as a manual miner, I was capable of sort of outpacing it. It's not like crazy fast because I focused on efficiency for the ore. I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing that because this is a lot of ore, and I don't know if I really need efficiency at this point. But whew. All right. I think that's probably all I've got for today. There might be a couple more videos coming out later today, mainly some guide stuff. There's some people who wanted, like, I was going to do a scuffed XNet guide, I think, and a subnet guide, maybe a subnet guide, I don't know. A subnet guide's going to be pretty complex, so that might be a little bit delayed. But I'm definitely going to at least attempt to do a scuffed XNet guide today. Whether I get that done or not, I don't know. Alright, well, so again, sorry about the late video. Moving sucks, don't do it. Unless you really have to, and I hate how often I have to do it. Anyway, alright, I will see you guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next week.